Welcome to the Sacu podcast, where we delve deep into the funeral industry. Today I've got Mr. Nhlanhla, acting SG of Unification Task Team. We are going to talk about the upcoming march to Old Mutual. Welcome, Mr. Nhlanhla.
Thank you, Bhembe. Thank you for having me.
Mr. Nhlanhla, tell us why you want to march against Old Mutual.
This thing it goes back to about four years back, where Old Mutual started a funeral parlor. They called it Old Mutual Funeral Services. And we only knew about it around September in 2020. And then UTT wrote a letter. And basically, it was an open letter that we circulated to the point that Old Mutual got hold of the letter, and then they made contact. And then we started having engagement with them. Because the issue is one, Old Mutual is an insurance company. And as an insurance company, by law, the Long-Term Insurance Act says funeral undertakers must underwrite. And the funeral undertakers are underwriting with insurance companies, including or mainly Old Mutual. That means Old Mutual is privileged to the data of funeral undertakers. When I say data, I mean the names, IDs, address, and everything of the clients of the undertaker. So to us, that means Old Mutual will be the referee and the player at the same time. So as the funeral industry as a whole, we are saying we don't want Old Mutual in our space. Old Mutual must remain an insurance company, not a funeral undertaker. They can't be a funeral undertaker. And then we had those engagements to the point that they agreed that they will leave the funeral industry. They even said they came into the funeral industry by default. So they decided to leave. That was March 2021. Fast forward to 2024. We got an information about 2-3 months back that Old Mutual has bought majority shares. In fact, they own an undertaker by the name of Two Mountains. Two Mountains is now owned by Old Mutual. So to us, there's no difference. Whether you come direct as Old Mutual Funeral Services or you come indirect as Two Mountains, the fact of the matter is that both funeral parlors were owned by Old Mutual. So to us, we look at Old Mutual as an insurance company to insure funeral undertakers, not to come and compete with funeral undertakers. So we view that as unscrupulous and greedy coming from this giant, the biggest insurance company, because we believe that if we allow Old Mutual to come into this space of burial, most small funeral undertakers will shut down. They will not be able to compete with such a giant, 175 years old insurance company. Secondly, if we allow Old Mutual to have a funeral parlor, I'm telling you now, other insurance companies will also come and have funeral parlors. We will see the likes of Metropolitan, Momentum, you name them, they will come and have funeral parlors because Old Mutual will be having one. So we'll have a problem of insurance companies monopolizing the industry and swallowing the funeral undertaking business to the point that they own it. They will own both the funeral insurance and the burial side of things. So we can't allow Old Mutual to be a funeral undertaker. So as a result, we've tried to engage with Old Mutual, and it seems like we're not getting each other. So we've taken a resolution as UTT. By the way, UTT is a federation of funeral undertakers. We are representing a number of associations, funeral associations, and and groups, Zama Funeral Undertaking. So ours is a mandate from our members that we should assist the funeral industry to do what we did 4 years back.
Yeah, without cutting you, Mr. Nhlanhla,
Yes.
can you please explain exactly what is UTT and the organizations inside UTT?
UTT is a federation of funeral undertakers that was formed in 2019. And at the time that UTT was formed, it was after we submitted a very delicate document to the FSCA, previously known as FSB. It was called a Coffin bill. So it was a group leaders of funeral associations that sat down and worked around the document called Coffin bill. And then thereafter, we decided that no, because we managed to come together as leaders of the industry, how about we start a federation that will be able to take the funeral industry forward? And since then, we've done several protests, several marches, and we've done a lot the past 4 or 5 years. So the number, the associations that are under UTT, I think top of my head, it's ANAFU, it's the NAFUPA SA, it's SAFA, and then we have what is it? IFTA SA. Some of them I might miss them. Maybe they're not top of my head.
I can remind you,
And then
BBK.
yeah, and then we have BBK. We have Sacu. We have PNFCF. There's a number of associations.
AFPO.
AFPO. So basically, we represent a number of funeral associations and groups. Basically that's that, Bhembe.
Okay, so this mandate comes direct from all these organizations.
Yes, I think from where we are, we will understand that the funeral industry has a number of funeral undertakers and there's a number of funeral associations. So the mandate comes from the members that we have and the non-members, which are funeral undertakers that do not belong to any associations or any funeral group, because they see the danger that is happening when an insurance company wants to come and become a funeral undertaker. So we have taken a resolution that we are going to march against Old Mutual on the 29th of October 2024, so that we can submit our memorandum to Old Mutual. Because the engagements that we've had, we had engagement with a team that was put together by Old Mutual. But now we want to send all our grievances to Old Mutual, where we will have Old Mutual MD, Old Mutual CEO to come and receive our memorandum, and then we will take it from there.
Okay. Let me take you back a few years back. After the first match against Old Mutual, apparently they promised to give the industry what I can call an incubation center. What happened to that?
Yeah, I think what happened in March, I remember it was the 3rd of March 2021. We were with the MD of Old Mutual, Mr. Clarence. Our agreement was that Old Mutual will leave the funeral industry. And then Old Mutual offered the UTT some form of a scheme where they'll be able to put a certain amount of money, and UTT will be able to assist undertakers to develop up-and-coming undertakers. And then a fund, basically. What UTT said, they rejected the fund because UTT felt that one of the problems that we have in the industry is that monies are given to leadership and monies do not find their way to the actual funeral undertakers on the ground. So we didn't want to repeat the same mistakes. So what we requested to Old Mutual is that instead of them creating a fund for the industry in the name of development, they would rather have or help the industry start an incubation center. An incubation center that will be able to absorb up-and-coming undertakers to be taught about the funeral industry. Then we agreed with Old Mutual that UTT will lead the incubation center and Old Mutual will support in whatever way, whether financial and non-financial. And then talks started from March. They've been going since March 2021, preparation, plans 2022, 2023. When this thing of Old Mutual happened, when Old Mutual acquired Two Mountains, the talks were probably just few weeks or few months away from finalization, because where we are, we had parallel agreements. One agreement was that we were busy with the conclusion of the building, because Old Mutual told us they'll give us the building at Renpec, where they used to operate as a funeral undertaker. That building will be used as an incubation center. So we're busy with that in terms of paperwork, the legalities on how will Old Mutual give the building to UTT. And then secondly, it was an issue of the business plan, because for 3 years we've been discussing, facilitating, UTT assisting Old Mutual to be able to understand the funeral industry, and Old Mutual telling UTT in terms of the bureaucracy of the industry and how are they going to assist in terms of the incubation center. So basically where we were at the business plan stage as far as the process is concerned, and then we were at the building, the accumulation of getting the building to be owned by UTT. So when we heard about this thing of Old Mutual buying Two Mountains, we confronted Old Mutual, we had a meeting, and then they confirmed that they bought Two Mountains. And that automatically put the incubation center on hold.
Yeah, I to support you, I remember I went there. You guys did send me there. I saw the building, and yeah, I know there was a building that was supposed to be used as an incubator, but because of the situation, we can't anymore. So let's get back to the industry. Tell me, Mr. Nhlanhla, why is it important for undertakers to belong to an association?
Yeah, I think mostly it's for formalization and for an industry to be able to speak in one voice. Because if we speak in parables or
In silos.
or in silos, this one is saying this one is saying that, it becomes difficult for us to be able to professionalize the industry. So mainly, the funeral industry first, it is not professionalized. So now every Tom, Dick, and Harry, whenever they have few cents, they want to come and become undertakers. Just like it used to happen in the taxi industry, where people, when they get packages or smaller amount of money, they want to become taxi owners. So it's almost the same thing. But the funeral industry is more complicated, because we get to deal with dead bodies that needs to be in
Professional.
in terms of being the hygiene and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So now, funeral associations are the closest thing to professionalism when it comes to the funeral industry. So for undertakers to belong to funeral associations, it assists in terms of undertakers getting to know the industry, in terms of their day-to-day operations whenever they have problems. Because the funeral industry is not lucky enough to have one department that looks after it. Funeral industry, we go to different undertakers for each and every departments for each and every service. Department of Health has an element of us, Department of Home Affairs, Department of this, Department of that. So it becomes, even COCTA. So it becomes difficult for undertakers to be able to put everything in one basket. So when we are a member of an association, we are able to be assisted in all those things, including getting the designation certificate from Home Affairs, being assisted in terms of the processes and registrations. If you want to build a mortuary, being able to be assisted to engage with government, to be able to assisted to be knowledgeable about the industry, the new trends that are coming to the industry. And even when you are a small upcoming funeral undertaker, you'll get to be in the space of a number of undertakers who are a bit higher than you in terms of the industry, to be able to know about the industry. So when you belong, it becomes easier as an undertaker for you to navigate within the industry.
Yeah, and to add to Mr. Nhlanhla what he's saying, also to belong to forums, you need to belong to an association first before you belong to a forum. So I hope the undertakers there at home understand that to belong to a forum, you have to belong to an association first.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Nhlanhla.
And I think to add on that, there's a confusion where a number of people think there's a competition between associations and forums. And associations and forums, they are not in competition, and they do not serve the same purpose. They are working hand in hand. So the association will be that side where there's a formalization. And then the forums will be that side where, when forums were started, there's this word that we used, the lobby group.
Yes.
It is the forums are our lobby group, because associations, they also represent their members. But forums, they represent the general community of funeral undertakers as lobby groups. So forums and associations are working hand in hand so that we can be able to find ways to formalize this industry of ours, because there are a lot of stories that are happening on a daily basis because the funeral industry is not professionalized. But we are trying.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Nhlanhla, for clearing that up. We are not in competition as forums with associations. We actually want members to belong to associations. We as forums, we want to also to help associations become big. So those members who are in the forums and don't belong to associations, please do that. Join any association of your choice. I recommend UTT associations.
Thank you, Bhembe.
Yes, let's get back to this old mutual issue. So where exactly the problem started? Because I was of an idea that Old Mutual and UTT have found each other. What made Old Mutual not to stick to their promise? In short, I would say they lied to the industry. Yes.
No, I think it's that element of greed. Is that element of wanting to own and dominate and monopolize everything. For the longest time, I think a number of insurance companies have shown interest in becoming funeral undertakers, because that's where they feel is the source of the insurance side of things. We once had Sanlam having a funeral parlour, particularly on the space of Eastern Cape, KZN. I think they were still coming inland. So Sanlam left as well, Old Mutual, and we usually see insurance companies, whenever they do adverts, they no longer sell the money, they sell service. If you are an insurance company, you have a 10,000 Rand cover for 50 Rand, sell your 10,000 Rand cover for 50 Rand. Why on your adverts must you have coffins and cars and grocery and cemeteries? That is the burial side of things. But because they've always had interest in the funeral industry, wanting to be part of the funeral industry, because funeral industry it's about 5-6 billion Rand industry. So they want to have their hand in that. So now I think from where I am is that thing of dominance and monopolizing. Now, we expected Old Mutual, when we looked at Old Mutual the past 3 years, when we were discussing the issue of the incubation center, we started looking at Old Mutual as a partner, as a stakeholder, someone that we can be able to work with in terms of going forward and developing the industry. And we had already adopted Old Mutual as UTT, that when this thing ends, we will present Old Mutual as our preferred insurance company because they've shown interest in assisting and developing the funeral industry. So as far as we know, we had a good relationship. It was going. We'll have meetings every now and then and discuss and have way forward. It was a shock to us when we found out that Old Mutual has bought Two Mountains. Hence, immediately when we found out, we made our own researches, and then immediately we wrote a letter to Old Mutual and asked them, we are finding these developments, and we are sitting with you in meetings every now and then, virtual, physical, we are discussing incubation center, but you have never said anything to us about buying a funeral undertaker. And even now, we found out about it on the streets, yet we are sitting on the tables with you guys. So we felt that Old Mutual did this deliberately because they knew we will not agree to it. Because even initially, Old Mutual, we told them, we made it clear to them that even if they get to the point that they will want to buy shares, because we don't control people's businesses. My undertaker is my undertaker. I will decide who I sell what to. But as an industry, we are able to guide certain things to defend undertakers. We said to Old Mutual, even if you get to the point where you have interest in buying shares in any other undertaker and the owners are willing to sell to you, you can't go above 49%. 51% must always remain in the hands of the original owners of that undertaker. The reason is because we didn't want the likes of Old Mutual to have majority shareholder and then end up taking over those undertakers. Because with the man that Old Mutual has, they can buy shares in any other funeral undertaker, and then they dominate the industry, they take over, they give direction and all of that. We as UTT, we came to that point so that we can be able to protect funeral undertakers and protect the industry in its totality. Because when Old Mutual has a maximum of 49%, they don't have a controlling share.
Okay, Nhlanhla, thank you very much. So, in short, Old Mutual is very dishonest. I'm talking about now the public. There's an outcry. I mean, even yesterday when I checked on the social, they were trending. They are not paying the public claims. So I'm asking if maybe the public can join us when we march against Old Mutual. Can they?
Bhembe, I think we are reaching out to the progressive organizations. We are reaching out to the public. We are reaching out to everybody. Someone who will get to understand our cry. Someone will get to understand what we are against when it comes to Old Mutual. You know, I've seen trends of Old Mutual leading most of the things that are unfavorable to the less fortunate, basically to the poor, to the marginalized. You will look at the industry itself. Before, funeral undertakers, whether you have an FSP or not, you were allowed to negotiate rates with insurance companies. But we got to the point where there was a law that came in around 2021 that said if an undertaker is not an FSP, they can no longer negotiate rates direct with the insurance company. So they must go through administrators and all. That means administrators will work on behalf of insurance companies. That law, that act, the first insurance company to implement it was Old Mutual. And then everybody else followed thereafter. So Old Mutual being the leading insurance company, it is always first. And when it goes first, everybody else follows. That is where our fear is, that even if they come in, we will have other insurance companies coming in. Fast forward to the public right now. Two-port system. Two-port system is written Old Mutual all over it. You can go to the media, you can go newspaper, TV, everywhere. People who have been interviewed about two-port, all of them are Old Mutual employees. It is Old Mutual this, Old Mutual that, Old Mutual that. If most people can pay attention to that, since two-pot system, even before it came and after, most interviews, people who are interviewed to explain to the public what is two-pot and how does it work, always are Old Mutual employees. And two-pot, when it was launched by Old Mutual. So you'll see these things, Old Mutual is always the first to hit, and then everything else follows. So my point is that with the power that they have, with the money that they have, connections that they have, and all of that, political connections and whatever, they're able to do whatever they want to do as they please. Even at the FSCA or the FSP, Old Mutual is the leading insurance company when it comes to issues that are adopted by the FSCA. They give direction at the FSCA. So we are calling upon all the leftist organizations, progressive organizations, the public to come forward to assist the funeral industry in fighting this big giant, this 175 years old giant, so that we can be able to help the funeral industry so that it doesn't fall in the hands of white monopoly capital.
Yeah, no, you are right, Mr. Nhlanhla. I was listening to General Secretary of SACP. He mentioned that Old Mutual, it's not even a South African company. It's actually a company from London, and they are taxed in London. Where else, here in this country, they are busy scamming people because that's what they are doing. Okay. So now, my next question would be, why is FSCA so lenient to Old Mutual? I think a couple of days ago, they were fined about 15 million. I think that's too little for a big company like Old Mutual. So what's your take on FSCA being too lenient to insurance companies and coming hard on small emerging funeral parlors?
Thank you, Bhembe. You know, when we sat down in 2019 to respond to the coffee bill, basically the coffee bill was saying funeral undertakers should become sales consultants or sales agents of insurance companies. You know, it is funeral undertakers who recruit members. It is us who do, number one, we create the schemes. The insurance companies, they give us amounts. 10,000 rand is 50 rand, 20,000 rand is 100 rand. They give us that, the rates. It is undertakers who create schemes. It is undertakers who create schemes in terms of coffins, cars, gravesite, and all of that. Number two, we make pamphlets, we hire sales agents, we market, we advertise, and then at the end of the day, those clients belong to an insurance company, which we believe is unfair. And it was part of the coffee bill. But we responded at how we as an industry will want government to look at us. Because as funeral industry, the funeral services industry, we are not a financial industry. We are our own industry. We should have our own rules and regulations. And then when we have our own rules and regulations, we can be able to engage properly with the financial sector, the funeral industry in the sector with the financial sector. And then we discuss how are we going to be able to meet each other halfway. But now the coffee bill was telling us that no, this is us, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. So now we responded to that document and we requested a meeting, even after submitting that document, that can we have a meeting with FSCA as a funeral industry so that we can deliberate further on this document and how you view it, and so that we can be able to further explain ourselves as an industry. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, it's been 5 years now. We are waiting for FSCA. Even today, as I'm seated here, we are waiting for FSCA to be able to engage on the coffee bill. Secondly, we've tried to write communications, send communication to the National Treasury. We got to that level because we felt that the FSCA is an agent of the National Treasury.
Treasury, yes.
Maybe as an agent, they take orders. They just take orders and implement, take orders and implement as an agent. So let's speak to National Treasury, who is responsible for FSCA. Again, it is 5 years. National Treasury does not have appetite to meet the funeral industry so that we can be engaged, to be able to engage on these issues that are affecting us as the funeral industry. So as we are seated here, one will say, why you don't do this, why you don't go there, why you don't engage there. We've been trying, even before 2019, individually so. So I'm speaking about the 2019 period because that's when UTT started, so that then we moved as a group.
Yeah.
But FSCA and the National Treasury, they do not have appetite to discuss these issues with the funeral industry. As a result, what we see, there's an association that represents insurance companies in South Africa. Mm-hmm. That association is the one that has power in terms of influencing the FSCA. Mm-hmm. And the biggest member of that association, it is Old Mutual.
We know that. Yeah.
What Old Mutual says, it goes. If Old Mutual says we are going left, we go left. If it says we go right, we go right. So that is why I'm saying almost everything that seems to continue to oppress and marginalize our people in the financial sector, particularly on the side of the insurance, Old Mutual is on the front. So hence we are calling the entire society and organization to come and assist us. Maybe this might be the breakthrough that will be able to assist even going forward.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Nhlanhla. Let's get back to the march. When is the march? What time? Where do we meet? And how do we go?
The march is planned for the 29th of October to be able to march from point A to point B. Basically, we'll be using the Oxford Road to be able to come down on foot, whether on cars or on foot, to come down to Old Mutual to be able to submit our memorandum. The march will start in the morning at 9, and then we'll reach Old Mutual and submit our memorandum. And we are expecting that the MD, as far as I understand, there's a multiple number for different reasons of MDs at Old Mutual. Probably the MD that is responsible for the funeral side of things, or the CEO of the company. In short, a senior executive person from Old Mutual. We don't want a situation where we are sent a representative that will still have to go and speak to this one, speak to that one, speak to that one. We need someone who's a senior in the executive level to come and take our memorandum, because what happened in 2021, we were planning a shutdown. When we met the MD on the 3rd of March, on the 5th of March, we were going on a shutdown. And what happened when we met, from the 1st of March to the 3rd of March 2021, the shutdown started gradually in KZN. And when we met with the MD in the meeting, the MD told us that in the space of 2 days, that gradually a shutdown happened in KZN. Old Mutual lost about 20 million because offices of Old Mutual were shut down. Mm-hmm. So now we are saying to Old Mutual, we have no interest in making them lose money. Our interest is not them to lose money. Our interest is that Old Mutual must continue with what they know best and stay away from the funeral undertaking business. They can continue insuring undertakers, buying their books, doing that as far as the financial side of things is concerned. But graveyards, cemeteries are not a place for insurance companies. That space is for funeral undertakers. And if Old Mutual doesn't adhere to our memorandum, I don't know.
Yeah, no. They should be careful, because we might even ask the public to withdraw their policies with them. So, yeah, we'll take it from there. And lastly, Mr. Nhlanhla, us as Sacu believe so much in UTT. You know that we even gave UTT an award because I think you guys were doing a great job for the industry, especially small and emerging undertakers. So I would like to say, keep it up. Let's take UTT back to where it was, fighting for small undertakers. Thank you very much, Mr. Nhlanhla. Hope to see you soon now to talk about you as an individual, not organization.
No, thank you very much, Bhembe. I think 2 things that I want to address quickly. One, this is the same UTT that shut down Department of Home Affairs offices, the head office in Pretoria, to be able to get that. We ended up with a provisional authorization of the designations.
Yes.
This is the same UTT that shut down the country for 3 days without removals in government, mortuaries, anywhere, home and everywhere. And we managed to get a go-ahead in terms of removals, the COC and all of that.
Yes.
This is the same UTT that has been able to fight the funeral industry battles. We've done that before, and we're going to still do it now. And as I close, I would like to congratulate Sacu for the great work they've done in Soweto the past weekend. Sacu, on those children, there were 5 before the funerals. It happened that the 6th one passed on later on Sunday. We'd like to thank Sacu for standing up and assisting the community and conducting those 5 funerals for free. I think it must be out there that the 5 children that passed on in Naledi due to the snacks that they ate from a tuck shop, those 5 children were buried by Sacu, a member of UTT, for free.
And
It
the
must be
6th
clear.
one will be
The 6th one, Sacu is busy currently with the family to be able to render their services for free as well. So we want to say thank you to Sacu and keep it up, because to us it's not always about money. If where we feel there's a need for us to intervene as funeral undertakers, the funeral industry, we'll be able to intervene for our communities. Thank you very much for having us. Bhembe, Sacu, Asian Pambil. Let's teach Old Mutual a lesson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhembe.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
How's that?
That's a wrap.
How's that?
That was awesome.